My definition of a made man is a man standing in his own power. Somebody who understands that he has the power to change. It doesn't mean that you're a finished product, but you have the ability to kind of create change wherever you stand. The attributes of an involved man are kind of a step above the made man, right? So the made man is somebody who understands where his power is. The evolved man is the man who takes that power and decides to create change in his community, right? You don't have to change the whole world at a time, but if you start where you are, you'll eventually kind of change the dynamic of where you are and everyone around you. The attributes of an evolved man are a man, specifically a man of color who knows and understands the mistakes of everyone that came before him and is able to kind of take those mistakes, those teachings, those lessons, and use them to empower the people who come after us, right? So all of us are conduits of change. So you look at what people have done, you look at what you have done, and you try to use that to evolve or help pass that on to the next generation, just to make sure that the torch keeps on getting passed on. So I contribute to building an equitable society for all by making sure black women have the space to do what they need to do. Even as men, we have to understand that we've been in the way of black women for a very long time, right? So Brother Malcolm said it best, that the most disenchanted group, the most disrespected group in America is black women. So why are we in the way, right? So the best thing that we can do is let the women take the lead and be the brilliant people that they are. The advice I give to my younger self is, if you feel like you're going through hell, keep going. Everything that you ever want is on the other side of fear. So all the things that you've been going through that you feel like no one else understands, that you feel as if you're going through it on your own, know that all that will make you a better man and help you to correct the mistakes that people ahead of you, or people behind you rather, may make. I wasn't mentored, but however, I kind of was reverse mentored, right? So I look at all the people who are older in my space who did things that didn't bring about positive change or positive direction, and I figured everything that they did, I didn't do. So I wasn't out, I always was involved in something, I always kind of kept my head in the books, and I always made sure that everybody won, right? So the communities of color make a habit of making sure that everyone keeps things to themselves. Like, if something happens for one of us, it shouldn't happen for everybody else, but I believe that if it only happens for me, then there needs to be more work done. So I look at the things that people did and I just kind of flip them on their head to kind of create a different result. I handle adversity or being faced with a challenge by looking at it, understanding what am I really looking at, right? How do I figure out what do I control, what do I not control, and understand that everything that we've ever gone through in our entire lives, we've lived to tell about it, right? I've lived through so much and I'm still standing. So I don't think there's an adversity that can keep me down. So I look at it, I figure, what do I have, what do I know, what do I need to find out to kind of get through this? So I look through it, I kind of get to it with a real logical kind of point of view and understand that none of this is gonna beat me. I've done far more than dealt with this, so this will be all right. All right, so the advice I have for young men who might feel marginalized or disregarded is the fact that this is where beauty lives. And the stories that we have are stories that people need to hear. And the stories that you have, the things that are born from that story, are things that the world needs. And please understand that you have something that the world needs. Each one of us has a very unique thing to contribute to this world. And people might not understand that, they might not understand that yet, they might not know who you are yet, but the more you kind of stand in your own power and spread your own light and kind of shed your own light, people kind of gravitate to that and they'll start to understand and appreciate things that you've already known. So stand right where you are, and like, disregard is just a kind of perspective, right? And as you're working through and as you develop it into the man that you need to be, then people start to pay attention, and then you kind of just keep on going from there. As a made man, my commitment to the made man community is showing the people who come after me that art is a real job. There's so many of us who have grown up in households, especially communities of color, that you have to be a doctor, lawyer, policeman, and all of these things that are safe jobs, right? But there's a very gray area with the creative space. So there are a lot of people who I call misfits, who are into the creative arts, who are into visual arts, into things that they just imagine, right? And I want to make sure that the kids who understand or just live in their imagination know that there is a place for them. And even if there isn't a place for you now, you create it. The youth and women in my community can lean on me for empowerment, because it's about time you give it to them, especially, right? And the youth learn from the people who came before them. And I'm a firm believer in empowering women and having women understand their power and men just being out of the way. So, and one thing you understand is the better the women are in the community, the better the community is, period. Because women are who we all kind of came from. So if that means taking a stand for women, if that means that if I gotta kind of raise my voice for a woman, if that means that I have to help a woman stay in power, then by so be it, that'll be me. And the youth will also understand from that treatment that this is how women are supposed to be. So we mistreated women for so long that I think the start with that becomes, listen, women, you belong here, you are our lifeline, you are our guidelines, and this is what this looks like. Because women haven't had the chance, and I think it's about time to give it to them. Join me, Ronald Draper, the other honorees, mentors, youth, and college students on Tuesday, June 18th for a day of collaboration, impact, and empowerment for the Made Man Honors Reception at the Brooklyn Chop House.